Okay, now they always wrap these up pretty nicely. It's actually wrapped up pretty well. Ooh, it comes in a bag. It's actually a little bit nicer than I remember some of the previous ones. It's not really a bag, it's just some... First impressions, pretty nice. Pretty nice. I definitely can't complain about that. Gotta get rid of this. Ugh. Okay, let's talk about some of the specs. First of all, I like the way this looks and feels. It's supposed to have an aluminum alloy frame. The braking system is the SS Magforce, and we're gonna jump into how that braking system looks compared to the Silver Creek and the Gekkabijin. It does have a clicking drag star. It's got the clicking drag, which is a huge upgrade. Now, so a lot of you may say, hey, this is just the update to the Alphas Air, which is one of my least favorite bait finesse reels. So why am I even trying this? In fact, Earl from the Multi-Species Angler, he even asked me in December, he's like, hey, you gonna try out the new Diawa? And I'm like, no, I don't think so. I'm pretty happy with what I got. I decided to give it a try for a couple reasons. One, you know, I like the other Daiwa reels that I've used. I just hated the original Alphas Air. And so like I said, I am not a fan of it. Two, I guess there's three reasons. Two, when the SS Air came out a year and a half ago, the first batch had a few problems, and then I got into, I spent money on other stuff, and I didn't buy one of those yet. So this has essentially about the same braking system as that SS Air. Now the SS Air is a much nicer reel from what I understand. If I like this one, maybe eventually I'll pick up the SS Air as well. And the other reason is I got this on sale. I think it was about 20% off. Which I don't know if that's good or bad. It just came out and I'm already getting it at a really good price. So I got this from Digitaka. I think I paid like $243 for it. So it's not a cheap reel, but it's a lot less than, I think the original price was like $280, $290 is what I was seeing for it. So anyway, we're gonna compare it to the other two Daiwas that I do really enjoy using and see how it works out. This is a left, this is the 8.5 gear ratio. And again, it's, basically everything clicks on this, which is something that I really find that I like with you know, bait finesse reels in general. I like the black and the red. I kind of like the matte black finish versus the shiny black of the Gekkabijin. The Gekkabijin is I think overall a nicer looking reel just with some of the accents and everything, but this is still pretty nice. So let's look at the overall weight of the reel first. The new one is supposed to be at 165. This comes in at 166.3. And that's without line. The Silver Creek, you know what this little do here, it's about the same weight. And then the Gekkabijin, 165. So these are all pretty much built on the Alphas platform. So it's not a surprise that they all weigh the same. Now, some of the other reels that I use, I mean, I think the Silver Feather is 120 grams, the Flight Feather is 125, the Aldebaran's 135, a ton of them are in the 135 range. So these are slightly heavier reels. The big change on, well, one of the big changes on this one is they've moved to a larger spool diameter. So if we pull the spool out, and then we pull the spool of the, I'll just pull the Gekkabijin. Hopefully you can see in the images the difference in size. I mean, it's significant, but it's not. It's almost 10% larger. It's 30 millimeters versus 28 millimeters. I think that's going to limit some of the ultra lightweight comparisons, but they're calling this like the tournament drag system. So this was co-designed with the guy from KTF, you know, the sort of the real customization company. So he definitely had a big hand. He might have completely designed the spool. I'll put his name on the screen because I can't remember it off the top of my head. Now, what I've heard is that guy is going to be fishing one of the American bass pro or, you know, professional bass fishing circuits. So we're probably going to see some more bait finesse in America. Now, is he using this reel or not? They're calling it the ultimate tournament drag system. So, you know, maybe that's going to do. So the thing is that drag is not any, like it's not stronger than the other ones. I mean, most BFS reels are in the 4 kilograms range. Most BFS reels are in the 4 kilogram range. This one is in, it's like 3.5. The other thing that is really different is the braking systems. So you can see here that the brake design is entirely different on these. You know, versus this is the Gekkabijin, this is the Silver Creek, and then you can see how much different this looks. So it looks like the weights are similar spool-wise, but you can see here that this rotor sticks way in, this one and these two on the old Air design sticks out. Also the rotor, this doesn't appear to move at all, whereas on the Air system, on the Gekkabijin, the old system, this rotor actually moved a little bit with the way the spool spinned. That was one of the key differences on the Silver Creek, is it had a fixed rotor. So it didn't move, made it more consistent in casting. So what I'm wondering is, will this new BF TW, the new Alphas essentially, will this be a more consistent caster, more repeatable, more accurate? Now, one of the knocks that, you know, some of the people have said and speculated is it's going to reduce. It's going to. Oh, sorry, that's just the bearing moving on this side. So it's going to reduce the casting distance. You know, but here's the thing. They say that about the Air system too, and I believe the Gekkabijin is one of my longest casting reels that I own. I'm not entirely sold on the idea that the casting distance will suck. The Alphas, the 2020 Alphas, it actually had pretty good casting distance as well. Get all these right pieces back in the right place. It goes on really nicely. Now this brake design is, I mean, it's hard to adjust. But that's also good, right? Because on the, let me get the Gekka back together. This is always fun to get these back in here when they have line on them. Okay, so now that's back in there. As I was saying, I really don't mind that, because I've had plenty of times where I was able to hit this just, I don't know if it even just gets when I'm carrying rods and reels around back and forth, but while this is very easy to move and it's very quick to adjust, it's also very easy to accidentally adjust. And I've had days, in fact I had one back in I think October, where the brakes got set to 0 and I'm like, why am I backlashing all of a sudden? And that was why. So the fact that this is, if you get your thumb in there the right way, it's not horrible, but it's definitely not easy. But man, I like the way it feels. It feels nice and solid. So we'll just set it up here to around 10, which is right around the middle, and we'll have that ready to go. The drag clicker, I don't know, sounds pretty good. I guess it's similar to now this one, the drag clicker on the Silver Creek is phenomenal. There's that one. This one just sounds a little bit more tinny, a little bit more metally. There's just a sharpness to it. Whereas this one has like a, I don't know, a little bit more of a croak, where this one's a little bit more of a ting, if that makes sense. But I mean, it's not bad. It's not, I don't have an issue with it whatsoever. I like the way that feels. That feels, the thumb bar engagement feels really nice. It might be the best feel out of any of the Daiwas. Like this one definitely is a little clacky on the Gekkabijin. But I love the Gekkabijin. It's one of my top 5 reels. Actually, both of these are top 5 reels for me. This one feels like it's due for a service. Honestly, I haven't used the Silver Creek since the spring trout season. So it is, I might have used it a little bit in the summer, like up into June. So it's due for a service, but the thumb bar is definitely feeling a little loosened up a little bit there. It's time for a clean and a lube, I think. This one just feels really good. So I love that. Handles, I think people were expecting a longer handle on these, but they stayed with that compact design, and I don't have an issue with it. I know a lot of people like 85s and 90s. I think this is an 80 millimeter handle. I'm kind of curious to see what the KTF influence is. So here's another small thing. It feels like adjusting the spool tension. Very hard to do. It's almost like, is there a wrench to get in? Because this cap covers it so much. If you're the kind that likes to adjust your spool tension on a regular basis, I think that's great. Is this the one that they said was pre-adjusted from the factory though? I feel like I read somewhere that this was pre-adjusted, so maybe I don't need to adjust it, and maybe we'll just start with it that way. It's not easy to get in there and adjust. If you look at these other ones, see how little this sticks out. I mean, you just really can't get a hold of it, whereas these ones are very easy to grab a hold of. I am really looking forward to trying it. It feels a lot better in the hand. The Alphas Air to me had too much play in the drive system and in the handle. This one feels like it feels really solid and connected. I think that's about it. It's made in Thailand. It's not made in Japan, but most of Daiwa's reels, especially their Alphas line, is not. I think these ones are Malaysia. No, that one's Thailand too. Malaysia must be Shimano. So anyway, that's the 25 Alphas BF TW. It's a nice looking reel. You know, the all black is probably going to look really good on my Hunt BFS rods, so this will find a home on one of those very quickly, and we'll put it through its paces through the spring. So I didn't make any comments that I wasn't buying any new reels, although I did. So Earl, when you see this, sorry. Honestly, it might have been your question that made me start thinking, like, maybe I should. Should I be thinking about that reel? It's freezing temps outside right now. But as soon as I get a chance to take it out that's not trout fishing, I'll do that. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.